Right, we are back in another episode presented to you by Monologue Studios, where football nutmegs the nonsense. Shariff, welcome back, man. All right, so it's been a very shocking week, surprising week. I mean, some are probably nothing new lah. I mean, the usual expectations lah from Man United now as they, so considering that, what a start of the year, man. So let's see, Sharif. We started this year with Enzo Maresca leaving and the obvious sacking of Ruben Amorim, which we have already covered in our previous episodes. And what the heck, man? All the way to Xabi Alonso with 70.6% win rate, and he has decided to leave Real Madrid after he lost in the Super Cup final, right? And that's actually a very surprising one lah. I mean, we have lots of talking points on that as well. And of course, to also add on something on Thomas Frank at Spurs, we've got some talking points there as well. We'll be covering, I mean, in this episode, we'll be covering Man United's obvious exit. It was expected lah. I mean, truth to be told lah. And lots of noise that's been happening from the battle between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick to take the helm, and by the looks of it, Michael Carrick will be taking the helm at Man United.
Here we go. There's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano.
Confirm already,
There's a here we go.
Okay. Yeah, there's already a here we go.
Only interim manager that has a here we go. So hashtag when you're big, you're big.
When you're big lah. So we'll be covering on those topics as well, and of course towards the end we'll be covering the sudden departure via mutual consent. Yeah, I mean, of course there are some people mentioning that it's a sack, and a lot of it were talking on him actually leaving on mutual consent. I'm speaking of Xabi Alonso. So let's get into it. So of course, Shariff, we were highlighting, I know there was some, I'm not sure how much noise has been happening on Thomas Frank at Spurs, considering him taking over from Ange Postecoglou, and looking at where Spurs are sitting at the table at this point with only what, I'm not going to go through too much of stats lah. It's all out there, So, hey, tell us more, man. What's been happening at Spurs, given the fact from his, do I dare say, consistent or pretty decent team that he has, developed at Brentford, and now joining Spurs. And I know a couple of episodes back, I know we joked. It's like it's like a Brentford 2.0, right? It's looking, or rather, probably even more poorer than the previous Brentford team he has brought up. So, hey, tell us, man. Tell us what are you making of Spurs and Thomas Frank?
So I think you are spot on when you mentioned about what you call it, Spurs being a Brentford 2.0. And I remember we mentioned this when it was way long when Spurs were kind of winning, right? I guess it was in August or September. They won against City, right? In August. It looks good, and it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, even though it was doing well, and I remember we touched on this topic that certain reports when I watch others podcasts like this athletic podcast and also certain podcasts out there are certain fans of Spurs that are not happy with the way that Spurs are playing, right? And like what you mentioned earlier, that they look kinda expensive, Brentford, right? So what does that mean? So it means like this is what you risk when you promote a middle club manager or head coach, right? So either one, it really looks like something that you like a gem out there that you found, and then it's like a next pedestal, right? For the head coach or manager, to bring up, because you could see his potential with a smaller squad and with a tight budget, but could able to deliver results way better, right? I mean, it was really amazing, the results that Thomas Frank did with Brentford, from promoting them and then ensuring them staying in Premier League and so on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one of the how you want to see it, right? Okay, so that's the raw talent, the positive side, right, man? But that's also a risk factor where we've seen, the likes of David Moyes, Graham Potter, and I got to put in as well, like Harry Redknapp and even Unai Emery as well when he was being from Villarreal directly to Arsenal. You see, they they tend to play for me, in early games, all these managers have some similar pattern, right? Where they
Mm-hmm.
tend to evolve their style of game because they are
Mm-hmm.
in a bigger club, right? In a bigger club, and the expectation is to win every game. But when things get hard or when things get a little bit tricky, they tend to go back to where they are comfortable at, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
I think you heard every athlete they have the muscle memory, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you are built that since
Yep.
you are small. You play like that. You cannot change within few weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
managers also or head coach also do have that, right? And you could see that's what happening. And this is not something that I'm speaking out of my opinion, but this is something that the Spurs fan and also,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, the reports from
Mm-hmm.
the podcast and also some channels that I watch as well are
Mm-hmm.
saying that they are playing very safe. You know, imagine
Mm-hmm.
this, like the when Man United last time when under David Moyes. One thing that I think the fan of Man United, including us as well, is that we were not we were not playing our game. We were adapting to other
To
teams.
theirs.
You get what I'm trying to say, and that's
Yes.
not
Yes.
how big managers. You don't see Pep negating
Mm-hmm.
Stoke crosses or Brentford long balls. You understand? They
Yeah.
don't even though playing with Fulham, they are tend to to let go crosses. So you play crosses with them.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't do that in
Mm-hmm.
in a team, especially when you have an
Mm-hmm.
identity or the way of playing, right? But this is what happening. Thomas Frank at Spurs. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, when you talk about teams that are adapting to their style of play, it's like welcoming them to play. Okay, lah, you bring your game to me, lah, because it's always been, I don't know, just my eyes, right? It's always been like, it's the other way around, right?
Correct.
You playing to, because like I mean, regardless who is playing home, right? Or I mean, home, away, whatever, right? You play into my style, or I try to counter your style, right? But now it's like welcoming, right?
Yeah.
Play to bring their game to us. So that becomes, it could be detrimental, right? That's where you either end up drawing games or you end
Yeah.
up losing games because you allowing them to capitalize, right?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
all the from the pressings to despite how much low block you play and all that, right? And your opponents tend to capitalize lah. I agree, right? So it also sometimes leads me to this question that I ask, in fact, even to myself, right? Is that how football has become today? Because you see, even like you see when Ruben Amorim takes the helm at United, wasn't he playing that? He was playing that as well. He was playing that kind of style that to play into their method, into their game, and welcome them to press and all that, right? And then along came the second balls and all that stuff, right? So so I question myself as well. Is that how football has become today, right? But again, what you say is so correct. You don't see the Peps or the clubs doing that.
Exactly.
Their respective teams, you don't see them doing that, right? But strangely, it's happening now. A lot of teams are
Mm.
actually playing that. I mean, do I dare say to a certain degree? Maybe even, I mean, I know Coben is not here with us today, but didn't Newcastle do that?
Mm.
To a certain degree, they kind of allowed that as well, right? But of course, it's not much lah, if I dare say. So and I agree. I totally agree, man. So so that's a bit of Thomas Frank's Spurs, and considering, of course, I mean, there's also a part where injuries did not help him,
Mm.
right? I think there are some of his key players, like, with the likes of James Madison, has also been injured, right? So that's also not helping. And I think I'm not sure how to pronounce that
Bentancur.
that players.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even Bentancur, so even he is equally injured, right? So that having said, I think overall, in my eyes, for Spurs, overall, if I dare say, defensively, some degree of progress. I mean, there's been some a bit of structure there, right? But offensively, I think they are struggling, lah, right, to get goals and all whatnot, right? So overall, I think that's what's also resulting um, to their inconsistencies lah in their performance. But I mean, I feel sorry for them at times because is Thomas Frank a bad manager? I don't think he's a bad manager, but it's like resulting to today's football where fans become very impatient, right? And given the fact that yes, Thomas Frank's just recently took charge of Spurs, I think yes, as much as he needs time. Thomas Frank does need time to really instill his philosophy and identity into Spurs. But again, as much as we want to say injuries are not helping him, but it works both ways lah at the end of the day. So adapting to how Spurs' identity and their philosophy, and of course from the players as well. So I think to what I gather as well, the board is backing him. So I think there were recent statements on that as well. So yeah, that's a bit on Spurs, man. So
Think
yeah.
that's one thing also. What they call that? Why also a fan are calling him out is because see, this is a different disparity between Thomas Frank and Ruben Amorim, right? Ruben Amorim, he has the XGs. I know
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bring up XGs, but sometimes yeah, but there are certain trend where actually things are overperforming their
Mm-hmm.
XGs, and Thomas Frank is. And this is also what happened, Matt, with our beloved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's where we saw the season before he left, he was
Mm-hmm.
overperforming his XG,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that is because maybe a lot of factors, right? Either the teams
Mm-hmm.
during that season were not performing well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the like what you mentioned just now, they tend to score goals like suddenly out of when they were 2-2 down, suddenly miracle happens,
Mm-hmm.
and and,
Mm-hmm.
and they can change from draw to winning position. And that is why it's not this is one thing that football has involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
you can predict what's going to happen, right, before the actual event occurs. So
Mm-hmm.
they, which is the data scientists and football experts, saw
Mm-hmm.
this, that
Mm-hmm.
Spurs are overperforming and they will eventually fall back, which is now they are 15 in the league, which is
Mm-hmm.
shows the actual position of their expected performance and everything. So this speaks volume. Whereas in
Yep.
Ruben Amorim, he's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to perform better, but he's not
Yep.
getting there.
Yes.
So that is also how you see, half cup full or half cup
Mm.
empty.
Mm-hmm.
Where else,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to be high up, but then you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting there because
Mm-hmm.
of maybe personal tactics or man management, that which is eventually cost his
Mm-hmm.
job as well, right? So in my opinion, they are calling. I think you also mentioned, right? They are calling maybe the odds of Thomas Frank to get sacked, right? Which is, if things that does not change, I will not be surprised because the
Yep.
data shows that he's actually
Yep.
performing poorly, man.
Yep. Yeah,
Not like his
exactly.
friends
And
like this. Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. So will he perhaps be the next in line to get the boot? We don't know.
Let's say
I mean, again, it's not a nice feeling, yeah, when you have managers getting the boot. I mean, if it's extremely poor, then of course, yes, right. But anyway, so speaking of struggles of teams, moving on to the next struggling team as the
mm,
usual,
mm,
So we've had Man United's exit in the FA Cup against Brighton. Considering in the league that in Amorim's first encounter with Brighton, we beat them 4-2, but of course that's the league, right? And how Ruben Amorim's United at the time managed to still capitalize despite them still scoring. And here we are now. United has been knocked off the FA Cup. I don't know, Sharif, what did you make of the game?
well, to be fair, man, I'm actually relieved that the result was that poor because
Mm-hmm.
I was actually, of course, as a football Man United fan, I really want United to win every game that I watch or
Mm-hmm.
any game that United is in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do not want
Mm-hmm.
we to go on again the Cloud9 ride. Oh, there, here we go. Darren Fletcher is going bring
Right.
us to see how Darren Fletcher won us Brighton 2-0 and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
that happened. That happens with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with Eric Ten Hag, and also certain glimpse of with Ruben Amorim as well when he won with Liverpool and City
Mm-hmm.
and so on. So my honest answer is that I relieved that we lost because I put more pressure to
Mm-hmm.
the current owners, Ineos, Omar, and also Wilcox as well. Jim Cliff is the owner, and
Mm-hmm.
and also for me, more important that it vanishes the thought
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah, Darren Fletcher is the one. Let's
Yep.
continue with Darren Fletcher. The false hope that always
Yep.
Man United ponders every positive stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one aspect. But the second aspect is how sad I am to look at Man United. I mean, look, man, I mean, when I see this type of cups, like like FA Cups, or what they call it, like Carabao Cups, where Man United have a series of game, maybe after 3 days you have games, or you
Mm-hmm.
coming back from a very tiring midweek from Europe and everything. It's always us, the bigger
Mm-hmm.
team who always
Yep.
rotate
Yep. Correct.
their squad. Yeah, I think you know where I'm getting at, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
For the first time, I'm looking at, and this, and I want to highlight this. I think it's also a wake up call, for me as well, and maybe I also want to ask the United fans that do they felt that, because for the first time is that the we are shows that we are no longer the bigger team anymore. We are the team that will put on, quote and unquote, the best 11
Mm-hmm.
against Brighton, who is rotating their squad, and eventually got results.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
And that shows where we are, man. Don't talk about Europe. Don't talk about you know going close to Liverpool. If you
Mm-hmm.
could not, I mean, the disrespect, or the confidence of of Brighton to come into Old Trafford. Let's
Mm-hmm.
rotate our squad. We'll eventually get results.
Actually, yeah, I couldn't agree more, lah. I mean, well, truth to be told, I kind of had this feeling for a number of seasons already, lah. That it's like it's no longer that, like what you mentioned just now, right? That United they are no longer that the
Significant
team
anymore.
that exactly, it's no longer that anymore already. Again, it's sad, right? I mean, if you want to take what Omar Barada has said, that United will win the Premier League in 2028. I remember telling you guys he didn't mention with which manager. So
Or maybe is he around to be there?
exactly. Well, exactly, right? So yeah, and looking at the game as well, right? Yeah, I agree what you say. I feel that same way, that it's a relief. Good lah. I mean, in a way, I'm not saying good that we exited the FA Cup, but in a way, it's good that does this relieve the pressure, more pressure?
Mm.
Okay, in a lot of angles to see, right? Maybe the oncoming manager, interim manager in Michael Carrick. I'm guessing it's already him lah. It's already him, right? As the interim manager. Will this relieve the pressure? Okay, there are no cup games. No more cup games already. Just focus on sustaining the league position, or perhaps climbing up where we are sitting at the moment in the table, right? I think we are at 6 or 7 at the moment. So on that note, perhaps, but of course, during the match between Man United and Brighton as well, like, I mean, it's a very clear, obvious things, right? That you can talk to sum up. I mean, I don't want to delve in too deep, lah, but it's the usual merry-go-round, right? Where, they struggle to break down a very, if I'm praising Brighton by using a very disciplined side, lah, huh? Very disciplined side. Of course, there were fans that were protesting against the red card, right? But again, and I'm like, I mean, okay, look, if I wear both hats also, right? As a fan, I was shocked with that second yellow card that Shea Lacey received, right? Because of his reaction, right? But then, of course, fans were protesting like, can't a player express dissatisfaction, but it's been the ruling for the longest years. When you react as such, you will be
Mm.
carded. But did Shea Lacey forget that he was already booked earlier? So
But
I mean
but it doesn't change anything, right? At least.
I agree. It doesn't change anything, right? With or without the red. I mean, with the red card, or even if he
It was a
didn't get
poor
the red,
performance.
it was poor. I hate to say this, lah. I might go to cause a stir by saying this. Was Shea Lacey the best performer? I think
No.
so. No, I think the game kind of changed when he came on. Right, he came on. I really felt like, who is this winger, man? You know, I saw some. I'm let alone he's from the academy and all that, right? So I don't know. I just look. It's just one or two games. I can't really judge much, right? But there were some pretty good performances he has put in. But again, the red card doesn't change anything, lah, with or without it. And of course, during the game as well, the protests of the fans with the frustrations,
That's
of
what I
the
like.
fans.
I think
Yeah,
I really like the big banner where Jim needs to go
can't
out.
fix.
Yeah, can't fix United. I think
Correct.
that's the best thing that the fan
Correct.
and you need that. I know people are calling you cannot have a toxic environment and everything,
Hmm.
but this is desperate times, and desperate times calls desperate actions, right? So
Exactly.
if you not you but if the Ineos are
Hmm.
not how do I say self-realizing themselves that they are incompetent, and they did not do any single decision that are putting the club in a better place, they should go. But if they are still there, then
Hmm.
then it's out. And no one called them to fix United. No one called them. No one offer
Correct.
Ineos,
I
hey,
agree.
come lah, because you did a very well job in Nice. Please
Hmm.
come, or you did a very well seat as assignment in Spurs, bench. Come here and solve
Hmm.
our stuff. No,
Hmm.
Jim came with his thought, and he came and buying the feelings of the local fans by being a local Manchester United fan as well. So that's
Yep.
something
Yep.
different than the Glazers. You have an owner who really cares, or who supports the club, right? But you have to walk the talk, right? If you just support but you couldn't invest. Look at Boehly, right? Look at Arsenal, right?
Hmm.
Look at Liverpool, right? How much
Yep.
investment that they did, right, to win their first title, and the change that they did, to win. So that's just also another positive thing, and I would like to top that. I
Hmm.
don't think any Man United deserve any man of the match performance, because uh hear me out, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And this is Darren
Hmm.
Fletcher, who's only been 1 week with his players, one
Yep.
week with players,
Hmm.
2 games with the players, but already called them fragile, already mentioned to them that it's all them self to save their season. It's them.
Yep.
No one's gonna
He
help
called,
them.
and I
Yeah.
gotta give it, man. I gotta give it to Fletch,
I
man.
I
Wow.
and for him,
Hmm.
he's also kind of little nice guy, but for him to go out there and lay out, it's a direct lah. It's a saying that it's
Hmm.
either the players change and dig
Hmm.
deep and look
Yep.
themselves properly, right?
Yep.
What's going on? They cannot find excuses. The club is changing this. No, it's them. It's
Yep.
them. And if they could not win with a reserve team of Brighton, they need to check themselves in the mirror, man. Because that's what
Clearly,
Darren
man.
Fletcher said
Clearly.
in
Yeah.
the post match
Yep.
conference, and also after the match. And it only took 1 week.
Yep. In 1 week.
So that shows how that reignites. I know some people do not like me saying that, and that confirms what I've
Hmm.
been saying, that the players are broken, are cowards, because they are not brave enough. They hide behind every mistake
Yep.
that one. And let me give
Yep.
you another example. Darren Fletcher did mention that he is very, very lucky to be played in the United team that he played, with the Roy
Hmm.
Keanes, with the Paul Scholes, with the Vidic. And he mentioned, because these big players help him, you know,
Hmm.
to
Yep.
in the game. So meaning, what I can imagine is, and what he's trying to say is that the big players demand players coming into the squad and helping them. Matt, you mentioned Shea Lacey got the red card, what? But no one, including the captain, went to Chelsea and said that, bro, calm down. Let's play the game. No one. And he was left
Nobody.
alone. Nobody.
He was left alone. He just walked off. Yeah. Yeah.
Before when he got the first yellow, it was an unnecessary yellow, but no one came to him and say that, bro, calm down, young
Calm
kid,
down.
calm
Yes.
down, relax, don't get yourself out of the game, don't get yourself annoyed. This is all, no one was speaking to each other. Everyone were hiding. Everyone were
Yep.
cowards.
Yep.
Everyone were broken. Everyone were not playing.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know.
1 week, only 1 week.
It's only 1 week. Exactly.
So that's why again, I'm not
Mhm.
hype up anyone coming in because, well, good luck, man.
Yeah, good
Coaching
luck.
these
I mean,
players.
exactly. Coaching them, it's really good luck to who's taking the helm, man. So, but you say funny, So, I mean, of course, a bit of a little segue to now to Michael Carrick, Before we get into Michael Carrick, sometimes I ask myself, or maybe I should ask you, I don't know what you think, You see, yes, we spoke about it's good that fans protest, but it's also an obvious fact that protesting by fans unfortunately doesn't change much, or let alone change anything. Okay, if I dare say this, I support the protest. It's good, but is it going to change anything? Sad fact. It's sad, it's not.
Will, man. It will, man. The one that pushed Glazers to offer the club for sale was I will not say the only factor was the fan, but
Yep.
of course we did mention about the
A
stock listing.
contributing factor.
Yes. For of course it's not a day job, but it's a continuous thing, and also the media itself. Look at how much, if this was Glazers were doing, or Zach Amorim, or with the Dan Ashwood stuff and everything. I guess the media with the Gary Nevilles will give Ineos, will give Glazers the run of their money. But Ineos, for me, it's a little bit dampening where you have Rio Ferdinand supporting Ruben Amorim deserve and everything, but nothing mentioned about Jason Wilcox and Ineos.
Yep.
What do you call that? Decision making, and also what they told and they lied, right? So, and in fact with Arsenal as well, right? When Kroenke, when the owner
Kroenke.
came in, when the owner came in, and again he was running like a type of team, and the players were very angry. The players were fan base were very angry. They are not moving anywhere, even a ticket price as well. So I do believe that fans do have the power. Look at Sporting Lisbon, right? Bruno Fernandes ran there after got beaten up, right? The Barca, the Bayern Munich and everything. Bayern Munich, even though after winning back-to-back Bundesliga, the fans were calling them out because they were not performing in Champions League. Guess who got the sack, man? All of their technical directors, your Salih Hamidzik, the legend of Bayern Munich, all the directors, the top sporting directors, they changed that. They admit the mistake. They were changing managers. Matt, they had Tuchel, they had Nagelsmann that you said that will bring Man United. But these big names couldn't bring the result, couldn't mimic the result in Champions League because they need a change. It's not like the technical director or the top that was not performing. They had the template, but they have to change. Matt, let me ask you, Sir Alex Ferguson was 27 years in Man United. How many times he changed his coaches? Is it because he break down with Steve McLaren? Is it because he break down with Rene Mosel? No, because he need change. He need involvement. He need innovation. Changes his backroom stuff from Arteta and so on, right?
Correct.
And we are the one only keep on sacking managers, but we are expecting a different thing. Is it?
Yep. Yeah. Another sad fact. That's also another sad fact on how it's been managed overall,
and
right?
all of those are because of fans, fan pushers,
Fan
one
push.
of the factors,
To conclude that part as well, fans alone protesting perhaps not enough, but it's good. It's good that they protest, right? And do I dare say this is now a wake-up call from Ineos, considering this is a joke, if you ask me, but again, a joke of a question or whatever you want to call it, right? It's like, have Ineos underestimated how broken Man United is? I would like to think so, no? They probably underestimated it. And I've said this before, right? I mean, before we move on to the next topic, right? It's like, what was my question? It's like, it's like how they underestimated how broken that United is, because it's like, we of course we had in our previous episode we did speak about, it was either Ineos. I mean, along came Ineos and all that, right? But little did they know how bad it was. And I've said this before, right? Is Man United gonna look like another club like Nice that they own?
Yeah.
And the first thing
It looks like that.
it's gonna look like that. I mean, again, I could be wrong, yeah, but it's already starting. The patterns are starting to look like that, because I can't remember the exact stat, right? But when Ineos bought over Nice, in X amount of years, how many managers have they changed? Period. That's all I need to see. And it's like, now Ineos taking, whatever, a small stake at United and all footballing decisions, whatever, right? You want to say. And look, in 14 months, they got rid of Ruben Amorim. Okay, fans did call it out. I'm to my surprise, despite the stats and all whatever we want to talk about, right? But fans did call out, so it's now echoing. I think do I dare say people are actually watching our pod? It's like, you were calling this out from what episode, man?
Yeah.
It's like, if Amorim goes, Ineos should go as well. It's like
Exactly.
AKA, question the board, question the management. Why does it always have to be the managers? Because, and I know I've said this before, Shariff, that the problems at United is far greater than just the managers and the players alone, or perhaps combined. But of course, I want to hear what the fans out there will have to say, man. This is just what we are only seeing. But then, of course, we've touched the board and all that. But what's going to happen next with Michael Carrick coming in as the interim head coach for Man United until the end of the season? So, I mean, I have some thoughts on it, but I want to hear from you, man. I want to hear from you, Sharif.
Let's hear from you, man. You have some thoughts while I think some.
Hey, I like Carrick. I like him. Yeah. Although it was okay. Look, I'm not going to talk stats and all that, rah, okay. But he had a very good moments, moments in Middlesbrough, in that probably almost first half of the season that he was with Middlesbrough at the time. Oh, they were smashing it, man, and it was showing some good glimpse. Like, hey, why didn't he continue at United? And right, but again, too early, right? And tactically and all that stuff. You can, I mean, the stats are all out there, right? But of course, it started to fall apart, and eventually he lost it, and boom, Middlesbrough decided to sack him and all that, right? But there are also people commenting about during Ollie's time when Michael Carrick was the assistant, right? The assistant coach and all that, right? The tactics and all came mainly from them. So with the combination of Michael Carrick, Kieran McKenna, and with these two, right? And Mike Phelan,
Phelan,
right? Yeah. So you see, and with these guys, right? So they Ollie was, do I dare say, I'm being nice here, Ollie was blessed to have these people who worked on the tactical side of things, whereas Ollie was he's regarded as a very good people manager, man-to-man man management lah. He was very good at that, right? Which kind of like, I mean, a lot of other podcasters and all these fans and all were talking about that. To have either Ollie and Michael Carrick, they were a bunch of them were saying 50-50, because one was better than the other and vice versa, right? But again, I'm not going to talk about what sort of tactics that Michael Carrick is going to bring on to United. But there's only one thing probably I can think of. They are going to revert back to a back four. Given the players that United has at the moment, I think they're going to revert back to a back four, right? And I think they perform more better when they play with a back four, right? So that's just my thing. But again, he's just an interim head coach. The last thing I want is, United finishes top four. Just saying, this is not hope. It's the hope that kills. I always say that, right? But it's like, suddenly it's like, United finishes top four or even top six, and whether Michael Carrick gets the permanent role. I don't know if that is Ineos's direction. We don't know. Or is it Ineos's and Glazer's decision? We don't know that as well. So it's just my 2 cents on Michael Carrick. But I am kind of like, I'm not excited. But I'm just like, as a fan, I'm just, looking forward to it. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I don't know about you, man.
I mean, it's the same like what Darren Fletcher said. No one's going to help them. No one's going to help Man United except the players, right? So clearly, I don't know when to come, whether it's the back four or back three,
Mhm,
whether the
mhm,
the owner should go and everything. It's
mhm.
clearly the constitutional problem, a club problem from the
A
top
club
to
problem.
the players and everything, right?
Yep.
So just fixing each of each, right? What do you call it? Ragnick have told many times, and that is why I want him to come in because he has the balls and is
Mhm,
brave enough, to change everything, to reset everything. And we need that hard reset. It does not change when we get relegated. We're going to reset. It's the same if you're still going to have Ineos as well. It's the same if you're still going to have your Casemiros, your Harry Maguires, everything. They are good players. They are
No
average,
disrespect. Yeah, no
decent. No,
disrespect to
no
them. Yeah.
disrespect to them, but they are over their prime, and they couldn't play the modern game right now. And it clearly shows if you could not win, you don't need
Mhm.
to be coached to at least to be competitive. I think we said many
Yes.
times you don't need to be
Yep.
coached
Yep.
at least to be competitive with a lesser
Mhm.
team like
Yep.
Brighton. Brighton is a good team, but a reserve team, I don't know. So these are the same players, like I mentioned, these are the same players who got sacked 6 managers, 5 managers, 4 managers
Mhm.
ago. So
Mhm.
for me, bringing in an interim or a new manager will not change
Yeah.
where you still have the
It's not.
same players.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have the still owners. So
Mhm.
what I hope is that, of course, I would definitely, at least for a short-term issue, but
Mhm.
maybe Michael Carrick being maybe it's an irony, right?
Mhm.
Since he retired, Michael Carrick, when during the David Moyes and then early stage of Louis Van Gaal,
Mhm. Mhm.
we always been missing the midfield player that can able to progress
Yep.
the ball and also to do the screening or just sit and screen the thing, right?
Yep.
Or the midfield, right? We tried that with McTominay, we tried that with
Yep.
Fred, we
Yep.
tried that with Casemiro. We always get either one. And that is why Ruben Amorim bring Bruno down because we need a midfield that can progress the ball, that can link up play from the defense to the striker. Else we always gonna have a disparted
Mhm.
two blocks where you have your defense who are not brave enough to step up because they know they're going to concede goal, and then your attackers who are waiting the ball to pump up, and then next is that we're playing long
Mhm.
ball. So
Mhm.
maybe in a short term, I think it's a irony that we are missing a Michael Carrick type of player. So maybe we
Yes.
don't get a Michael Carrick in the field, but we get Michael Carrick
Get
at the
him with the
bench.
manager.
Exactly. So maybe he could develop or manage someone from the youth team, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then promote them or maybe at least mold them so that maybe the new manager comes in that they have at least one problem sorted out than the other 150 or zillion problems that they have, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't believe that the midfield that they are looking at, even though you call the Balibas or the
Yep.
Gallaghers and everything are out
Yep.
there to fix Man United midfield, I do believe the midfield can be molded, right? And I'm expecting Carrick to able to do that at least,
Mhm.
right? To
Mhm.
to mold and on results, I think it's over for season. Even though if we qualify or not, it's always going to be a blanket type of performance, right? Uh,
Mhm.
because I know again it's the same thing lah. Let's say I mentioned just now, if Darren Fletcher wins, then everyone is going to jump off their seat, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
to avoid that, right? It's not that I'm hoping Michael Carrick to fail, but it's going to be a blessing in disguise if we don't have a performance at that. So I will not be that what they call it that disappointed if we do not come into the position
Mhm.
6 or 4. But if we do, then it's good. But we got to really see the problem that Ineos need to go, and I'm hearing reports that saying that what do you call it, Omar and also Jason will be reviewed at the end of the season. So for me it's a 50-50, man, because one thing is good because now you are putting pressure to these
Mm-hmm.
two people, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is you should do when you sack Ruben Amorim, right? Like I mentioned, you brought Ruben Amorim. This is your Uno card, man. I mean,
Yeah.
this is your ace card, right? Your ace
Yep.
card. This is it, right? But you fought for it, but then suddenly you move it. However, Matt, you must remember the one who's reviewing this is
Yeah
still
lah.
Glazers and Jim, and they are
Correct.
nowhere to be positive. Oh, okay.
Correct.
Do you feel? Maybe that's a question to you, Matt. Do you feel? Let's say, for example, I'm saying that at the end of the season, Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox will get reviewed by Jim Ratcliffe and Glazers. Do you feel excited? Do you feel, oh, right, this is going to be, well,
Nah.
I think,
No, that's a clear cut no lah. It's like, okay,
exactly.
yeah, whatever. It's just gonna be a yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, they will just be retained. They will just
13,
retain them.
13 years of the track record to show you don't need any XGs or possession football or anything to show that you cannot manage Man United, right?
Correct. Correct.
They
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to
that's
go. They
true.
got to go. They got to go. They got to go.
Correct. And in order for the club to obviously succeed in future as well, right? So, but again, ultimately, I really wish Michael Carrick all the best, man.
Yep.
Just
Hopefully, you
kind
can
of like
take a Michael Carrick. Yep, 2.0. I really
never
hope
know.
that. I really hope that. I really hope that. At
Yeah,
least that's the expectation. I'm not hoping for him to qualify us in Europe, and that will not bring anything. That will
no,
not bring
that's
anything. That will
that
not
is
bring
not
anything.
gonna bring and
I know
mean
some.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah. I know some will say, "What do you say? You don't mean anything. We'll get more players. We'll get more. We'll play in Europe and everything. We will struggle.
yeah,
We
yeah. No,
cannot
yeah,
compete in FA Cup. Why do you think that
correct.
we can compete in Champions League? Right,
Exactly.
right.
I couldn't agree more. Correct. So, and but again, thing for me,
We are not.
Michael, we are not ready. We are nowhere near ready for this, right? However, I
We
mean,
need
in
to
the
build up.
European,
We need to
in
build up.
the
Yeah.
exactly. So we are nowhere near to compete in the European stage,
Mm.
right? Let alone domestic. However, but again, as much as I wish Michael Carrick all the best, ultimately, in my opinion, simple. Just steady the ship for now.
Yeah.
That's just my only message as a fan, lah. Steady the ship first. Just get the results coming. Instill the belief in the players. Fringe, drop them. There are some areas where you feel potential or can bring impact to games. Deploy. I mean, again, we're not football managers, lah. But then sometimes as fans, that when you watch, it's like you can tell when you have it, right? So
Mm.
ultimately, it's for Michael Carrick to, again, I repeat, right, steady the ship, get us the results, get us back to winning ways, and the rest will fall in place, right? So get the results on the pitch and week in, week out, and let the fans protest. The protest is going to continue. I'm supporting that. Let the protest
It
continue
should continue until Ineos and Glazers are out
until
from the club.
yes,
That should
exactly, and
continue. If
correct.
we get
So
results, anything, it should not stop, man. Stop. This is just going to. This is what they are doing right now. This is the corporation spin.
mhm,
I'm gonna get your own fan. I'm gonna get your own legend to play and everything. He's gonna get a certain results and so on. So let's not play into that. Let's
exactly,
not have a Ole 2.0 era again,
exactly,
which is he's only going to hide the problem more, not to solve the issue, right? It's
correct,
not going to solve the issue. It's
exactly.
going to hide.
I totally agree, man. So, but yeah, let's see lah. I mean, again, wishing Carrick all the best there, man. And I'm just waiting for. I mean, of course, you were saying the news. I mean, the Here We Go is out already, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know because nowadays,
Watch
quite
Fabrizio Romano.
I know, but sometimes very hard to believe, lah. You know why? Sometimes AI also can do that one. So, but again, let's see, right? I'm looking forward to that news,
Well,
lah.
if
So,
Bruno Twitter can get hacked, we never know, right?
that was damn funny. Heck.
Right.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, moving on to the next topic, man. So
Quick one. Yeah.
30 after 34 matches, 24 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses, 70.6 win percentage, and Xabi Alonso leaves the club. by mutual consent. Or some reports said he was sacked and all that, right? I think Sky Sports reported a similar thing as well.
Kaya shit.
I mean, I know you're a Man United at heart, but of course, some level of a team that you like as well in Real Madrid.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know what's your reaction on it, man. When you heard what was running through your mind and your head when you saw the news.
I thought it was another knee-jerk reaction. I thought, oh my God, Real Madrid doing this again. They koyak again against Barcelona, right? They koyak again against Barcelona. I mean, come on, it's just a Spanish Super Cup.
Yep.
But then I saw certain news, and then you go to the Spanish news and they
Yep.
journalists over there, and you started to put two together, and then you saw certain videos were out, right? So at least I could say my version of what I understand. So I think it's clearly player power. It's not only happened. I know a lot of people are pointing to what Mbappe did after
Yes.
the game, where he did not want to to form the guard of honor to Barcelona, and then so on.
Mhm.
But for me, it's 50-50, right? Because again, I'm just speaking from my experience. Sometimes,
Mhm.
it's not that we don't respect, but sometimes it's sometimes emotion gets over you. Sometimes you just want to move out, right? So celebrating others, especially Barcelona,
Mhm.
say it's also pain, also, right? I do not know how much Xavi forced people or forced his players with, but certainly the players was not feeling that. Maybe he should stop. But
Mhm.
clearly, you could see at the beginning a lot of players were not happy where they are playing, not happy they are being substituted. And finally, when I read the Spanish media, Al Jazeera and also certain other Spanish media as well,
Mhm.
it was a really shock, even the players as well, because the players only got to know that Xavi Alonso left through a club announcement. And clearly, insiders were telling that he just feel disrespected by the
Mhm.
players, and
Mhm.
he does not feel that he's been protected by the upstairs. Meaning, may not say he's
Mhm.
being supported. He's being supported, right? But I think that there are certain. It's like, how do I say this? It's like
Mhm.
teachers in school, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you cannot have the same discipline teacher to to
Mhm.
to to to, to discipline the children in school, right? So it only shows that, okay, the disciplinarian is only lies to the discipline teacher,
Yep.
right? But you need a support from
Yep.
all, especially your
Yes.
principal and everything. But if your principal say want to play the good guy and everything, and I guess that's the environment, right? So, but kudos to him, man. That's a very, very brave decision to do.
I,
Resign, meaning he's not
mhm.
getting any money,
Yeah.
and from, well, it's a dream job. I mean, to leave Real Madrid and from where he comes, I mean, done. But I guess yes. I think these new managers, the Ruben Amorims, the
Mhm.
Nagelsmann, the Xabi Alonso's, they have a certain ego of them, where they know that if they don't get the environment or the conducive environment that they can
Yep.
succeed, then
Yep.
finally it's going to tarnish their own careers, or going to tarnish their own game, right? So it's before he fail.
Mhm.
I like some
He
word
better
yesterday.
walk off lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just walk off, like I think he had enough with the player power.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yep.
clearly.
Mhm. Yeah, so it reminds me of a very common saying, right? When respect is not served at the table, it's
Oh,
best you leave it, right?
yeah. It it
Yeah.
it goes to any
Mhm.
working place, right?
Yep.
If the environment,
Mhm.
you couldn't say
Mhm.
much, you are not respected, this is all things that not to be
Mhm.
said, right, man, right? So yeah, better leave,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Even though it's
Yeah,
a
that's true. That's true.
good company like Real Madrid
Exactly.
or something like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but of course, taking over, I think interim Alvaro
Yep. Yep.
Arbeloa, yeah, former
Mm.
Liverpool, another former
Liverpool,
Liverpool
former
player as
Madrid,
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
former
exactly.
Madrid as
So,
well.
correct. Yeah, he was coaching the B team, and now he's taking charge of the senior team. So,
The
and he
Darren
will
Thatcher lah.
be.
This is what happens. I think this is what you get from big clubs or club that you have a system that you have an identity. When
Yep.
this thing happens, it make no sense to just
Yep.
look
That's true.
to where you are, promote Pep. After Frank Rijkaard left, Pep was there. It was supposed to be a temporary job, and then you know what the president say, you know what,
Just give him the
let's
job.
give this guy. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. That's true. That's true. So of course, Arbeloa takes on his first assignment, which will be the tie against Albacete. I think that's how I'm not sure how they pronounce it. So, but yeah, again, right? So similar stuff. I think it's going to be a short term priorities, like similar. It's going to look very similar, but of course, the problems are more greater at Man United. But then, of course, Real Madrid will need to. I'm not sure how long is his Is he interim? I'm not sure if it's interim or what. But I think it is. Right? Some reports are
Yes,
saying it's interim. Yeah,
it is. I think it's the same thing until end of season. They will look someone much
yeah,
more permanent.
yeah. So before we
It's a
end
sad,
this.
I said.
Yeah, it's sad, right? But then before we end this pod, of course, we're not sure whether the reports or the rumors are true, right? But then somewhere I was reading, should Thomas Frank get the boot, and with the recent departure of Xabi Alonso, they might be considering him for the Spurs job. So I'm not sure how true that is. Again, reports and rumors, yeah. So don't quote me on it. This is what's been mentioned, right? So they are tipped for Xabi
You know
Alonso
what,
to.
Matt? I am hoping. Still there's a small percentage of Man United fan hoping that this shit works, right?
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm,
really hoping if Ineos maybe get things right and maybe figure out a miracle. I do
mm-hmm,
not know. Maybe
mm-hmm,
God help them or something. I do not know, right? They either get someone to replace Jason Wilcox, right?
mm-hmm.
And that someone is someone very close to Xabi Alonso, and Xabi Alonso comes to MU because guess what? He plays at the back three. He's
Yeah,
flexible. That's something that Ruben Amorim does not have,
he's
right?
flexible.
He's a very young
Yes.
coach. He's a very young
Mm-hmm,
coach,
correct.
and he's
Yep.
okay to play the head coach as well. So
True, true, true.
so for me, I don't think it will work with him with Jason, right? If you look at all those clubs that is building something, the sporting director and the
Yep.
manager slash head coach
Mm-hmm,
are like brothers.
mm-hmm.
If you watch the All of Nothing Arsenal,
Yep.
and I know
Yep.
it's a bad season because they did not won anything at the end. Memang all or nothing memang nothing lah, right? But one episode, Matt, it was a holiday season. I think it was a winter break.
Mm-hmm,
Sorry, it was a summer,
mm-hmm.
and all the players were out, and then Arteta also was with family, and
Yep.
then Arsenal had the meeting and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and Edu Gaspar is the sporting
Yep.
director over there.
Yep.
He has a whiteboard, and that whiteboard he has shows the system that Arteta is playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two things is on the whiteboard. One, players that he feels that needs to move on,
Mm-hmm.
right? And players that needs to come in. And
Mm-hmm.
not only one, you have A, B, C. And
Mm-hmm.
during that discussion, even though Arteta is not there, but you can sense they are doing
Yep.
it for Arteta.
Support.
Exactly.
Backing.
Exactly. It's not support, just words. No,
Yeah, yeah. You
it's
show
a
it. You
collaboration. Yeah, it's collaboration.
correct. Exactly.
Arteta is don't know. I know he's at the beach enjoying with his daughters and everything, but he trusts. He knows the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
the directors meeting is going on up there.
Yep.
It's going to work for him when he comes in. At that time, he's
Mm-hmm.
head coach. He didn't win anything,
Correct.
which is only the FA Cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, Edu Gaspar did not win again. We have to prepare Abu Mayang.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that okay, have to
Yep.
move on Abu Mayang. We have to move on
Yep.
Lacazette. We have to
Yep.
move on Luis and all those stuff. And I keep on saying, Sir Jim, quote Arteta, got time, but you got to not to take a bit of the whole recipe, right? Then it will not
Yep.
be nasi goreng belacan, bro. Betul. You need the whole recipe, right? You cannot take nasi and then say, I need nasi, then I can have the best nasi goreng kampung ever.
Correct.
But then you
Yep.
lupa the ikan bilis and everything. I know. Sorry for ranting, but that house I can relate. The
Mm-hmm.
footballing that is happening with Man United.
Correct.
You're taking pieces, right? You're taking small pieces and then saying that okay, now we are going to work because we have the best rights. that what
Yep.
Arsenal is doing, giving time. Okay, now let the rice cook. But then you're just cooking wet rice.
And then they signed Declan Rice. So
Yeah,
that completes
that's complete. The
so
nasi
that
goreng
completes the
kampung.
entire dish. So exactly, right? So you see how they have built. So I can totally relate, right? And you see when you shift all that to United, it's just totally different.
Exactly.
It's just detrimental, man, when you
Bro,
think
when you
about it.
have your sporting director styling discussing, maybe we need to play back four.
Correct.
Idiocy or idiotic. Yeah.
Yep. Correct.
Do you think Tixi Buxton in Manchester City thought, maybe Pep might need to play with back three with the current squad?
No,
Exactly.
they doesn't do that.
Nothing. What they are thinking is that how can I help Pep? Because I know Pep is going to deliver, right? I know
Yeah.
Pep is going to deliver.
True.
Right? Okay, maybe Pep has track record. Arteta, he does not have any. This is first club
Correct.
managing, right?
Exactly.
Where his title? Ruben Amorim, you have some track record.
Correct. So that's that, man. So of course, well, ladies and gents, we have reached the end of the pod. Of course, filled with some rantings and humor there as well.
Nasi goreng kampung, right? You need Declan Rice.
You need Declan Rice. But I mean, I will end this pod by saying, is Arsenal going to win the league? I would love to think so. Not just that, but wishing Michael Carrick all the very best.
All the best, man.
And we hope
Please
that
create Michael Carrick for us. Please
exactly right. Yeah, and that having said, with of course Xabi Alonso, wishing him the best as well, right? In his next, in the next job, who knows? He might just come to the Premier League. We never know if Slot gets sacked. Never know. Another legend. Yeah.
Oh
legend
yeah, maybe.
taking,
Maybe.
Never know, right? So we don't know what's going to happen. So stay tuned. We have the Manchester Derby over the weekend, and let's see. Stay tuned to our next pod where we'll be covering on the after effects, the after effects of the Manchester Derby and more topics lined up as well. So to those who tuned in, we appreciate your support and do drop us your comments. Let us know your thoughts on what did you make on the topics that we have discussed, and we are very open to hear you as well. Till then, this is me, Matt, your host, signing out alongside with Shariff. Till the next episode, peace out. Cheers.
Take care, guys.
Right.